here with self-proclaimed technologist journeyman Greg Elin.
Hi.
Who's been with us for about the last week. And you were previously with Sunlight.
With the Sunlight, I was previously with the Sunlight Foundation for the past 3 years. I helped start up the Sunlight Labs there, and most recently I was the chief evangelist, promoting the notion of open government, open data, and the activities of the Sunlight Foundation.
Sunlight Labs is, for those of you watching, if you don't know, are the creators of the Apps for America contest. Hashrocket participated on January 19th last year. It was the Obama's Day of Service. So we took that. We could have gone and cleaned out a yard. We thought maybe put our talents to better use, and we put together a site called localpolitics.in, and we had a really good time. And actually, we got a product out, and we're pretty happy with it.
Did you do it more or less in one day?
We definitely had a hack day. And the bulk of the application was built then. We had a follow-up hack day, and then about a week of cleanup and design, whatnot. But it was a great experience, and there is another Apps for America.
There's an Apps 2 for America contest that's coming up. That has started essentially now, and I think the entries are due in August.
Yeah, I believe it's August.
And the focus on it is the data.gov website, using data sets from data.gov, which is a website that lists that is a data catalog of many different federal data sets that are available online.
I know we've got a couple of people looking into a potential entry for that as well.
Yes.
Pretty exciting stuff. How did you wind up at Hashrocket this week?
Well, I was very excited to come down here to Hashrocket, and I ended up after OBI and Hashrockets had participated in the Apps for America contest that we were just talking about. I had a chance to hook up with OBI at the Emerging Technology Conference in the spring, and we were talking about different things, and we were talking about Hashrocket, and he was talking about the pair programming practice and how it was really easy to evaluate people to come work at Hashrocket because they would just come down and pair with different people.
And that basically is our interview process, is that we ask people to come down and work with us for a week, and then if we can stand you at the end of the week, maybe we'll give you a job. And it's really a great way to find out whether or not people are appropriate, or if they really know what they're doing. I mean, you can fake it for an hour or 2 hour interview, but after a week, you kind of have an idea of what the person knows or doesn't.
Right, and he mentioned that he's really interested in mentoring. Maybe coming up to Sunlight and showing us how pair programming worked. And I thought, and after I left Sunlight at the end of May, and I was looking for new opportunities, one thing that was on my radar early was like, gosh, I'd really like to go spend some time at Hashrocket and see if on one hand, see if I can make the cut, and at the very least, learn about the mentoring process.
So what were your expectations coming in? What did you know about pair programming, and what did you expect to be doing when you came?
I had never worked in pair programming before, but I was familiar with agile programming, with the agile practices and with extreme programming, and I thought it would be very interesting. I certainly had worked on code side by side with someone trying to solve a bug or do something like that. I didn't really know. I mean, I kind of, OBI was easy to get along with, so I didn't have a lot of expectations. I was a little nervous about whether I was brushed up enough on my Ruby on Rails. And I guess I would say, I think that I expected more actual coding.
Okay.
I think, more actual coding and rather than more of the kind of talking through and the thinking of what was the right way to code this, or and also the testing, which is obviously, I was looking forward to learning more testing, and I didn't know a lot of what to expect there because testing was one of those things which I've tried but have never really mastered.
Certainly. So we had you working on tasks that were somewhat administrative, or we had you setting up Heroku instances, and not a whole lot of really deep down coding.
Not very deep coding, but there was some coding. So I got to see that, and got to see how it worked with Ruby on Rails and with pair programming and with testing. Yeah.
So with your experience then, would you recommend pair programming?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So that seems like a setup, but what is it about pair programming that you enjoyed or that you see as so productive?
Well, I guess a lot of things. The continuous attention that happens because of the people working together is really significant.
Sort of being snapped back to the center.
You get brought back because you're working with another person. It's much harder to kind of wander off and check your email or check something else. And I think that so that's very powerful. I think what surprised me the most about pair programming, because you practice promiscuous pairing, where people work with different people and rotate every few days or every day, etc. I was really surprised. It's very powerful about how it raises the capabilities of everyone on the team, and how it gives everyone group ownership of the code. And I think that the rotating and that leveling up of everyone's skill set is probably one of the biggest advantages. And I think the continuous testing that takes, the kind of continuous debugging that happens with two people working on code, is a clear advantage.
So we had talked about this before, and sort of the when you pair two people together, you not always, but frequently will get people with different specialties or skill sets, and by pairing those two people together, you get to see somebody who really knows that technology or that practice or however you want to describe it. But you know both of them get raised because of that, because they're sharing the knowledge.
Right, differently abled. I mean, I think that there are most technology projects in today's world are collaborative in that they involve many moving pieces and different people. So it's really kind of silly to think that we could have all of these pieces that have to interact smoothly with each other, and that it would be a collaborative process, yet each person is working at their lonely writer's garret,
right, doing
that. That doesn't make sense anymore.
Agreed. So other than pair programming, what other practices did you find at Hashrocket that you enjoyed, or that maybe that you didn't expect?
I think there's a lot of unobtrusive process at Hashrocket in terms of the tool sets that you're using, and the way that the different tools are wired together. How you're actually using. Everyone is using Vim, so everyone is using the same tool set, which is a very big deal. Sure,
I mean, not that we preclude anybody from using anything else, but right, it's the efficiencies gained because we happen to have Tim Pope on staff, who's right, the author of the Rails.Vim plugin. You know, everybody is sort of migrated that way because they get to gain that efficiency, and if somebody's lacking something in the tool, we can just customize it, beef it up, and right, get what we need.
Right, so you're using Vim and the Rails plugin for Vim, so you've customized Vim for that, and then in addition you're using GitHub, and you've actually and you're using pairing, and you've tweaked GitHub, and you've tweaked some of the way that you're making commits and other things to handle the fact that you're pairing, and to leverage what's happening, I think, inside of Rails Vim. And testing, so that it's a common set of tools and a common set of practices which have been further customized for the organization and its processes. And most of it is fairly unobtrusive.
I think that's really the key. If you have great tools, but you have to go out of your way to use them, I think people tend to not use them, and then they lose those efficiencies that they would have otherwise gained.
Right, right.
So testing, you said you didn't get enough.
I should wait. I should also mention there's a community spirit at Hashrocket.
Community/family, however you want to phrase that, right, frame it. Yeah.
Right. So there's community spirit at Hashrocket, which I think the pair programming facilitates, and is supported by those activities in terms of going out to lunch and doing other activities. The fact that you have, that you have time where people can, you have other things that are about a full rounded life as opposed to just what's happening at the business that's happening. You know, I got to do an improv after one day after work,
Yep.
which I didn't expect. I didn't expect to be doing improv this week.
But you found it?
But I did. And I enjoyed it a great deal. I used to do improv in college, so it was actually great fun for me.
Very cool.